our presence became a protest.
100%.
Yeah.
Particularly in the time that we're living in. It's 2020. Some people were so scared that just the idea of a group outside riding in and of itself became a symbol of something.
Mental, physical, spiritual. And so I started taking that to heart, and I took it to heart with this opportunity. Like, everything was kismet. It was like, how often are you blessed to have work, life, all of it come together?
That bonding time that we're used to having dominate our every interaction. And New York was old New York. Things were going on at night where you could pull up with your bike, lock it, go inside, like they said, have a cocktail, listen to some vibes.
People developing wellness, right? And understanding wellness is not limited to like one specific category. It's socially, which we've needed. Like, people need a community. How do we communicate that through our rides? I mean, that's always what the rides have been about.
Let's go, let's grow.
Let's go, let's grow.
Let's go, let's grow.
What's good, everybody? What's good? Welcome back to yet another episode of Off the Strength, where we're giving you the inside look into all things wellness culture. I'm a trainer called Tony, and of course, with me, I got some gentlemen of extraordinary league guys. Let's go around the table and introduce ourselves, please.
KR Jones is in the building.
Your trainer Corey, a.k.a. your favorite trainer's favorite trainer.
That's right, and folks, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, listeners of all type, coming in from near and far, you are now in store for a treat. It does me a high degree of honor to be able to bring all these brothers inside the room, because we have been talking about them damn near the whole summer. Ain't that right, Jones?
You're damn right.
We've been out here night riding from day one. I remember the first flat that I caught rolling. People need to understand when I'm talking about the hype that I got. And my brothers inside here, I need to let you know that there was so many moments of salvation that came from these rides in a year of uncertainty. A year that I found true inspiration on these rides, that it is only right that I get to really unearth this story and really get to let people know why I'm so hyped to come onto this mic. So I gotta go down the line, let everybody know, especially because we got a goddamn posse cut inside here. I know y'all listen to hip hop. We're gonna start off from the top. We're gonna come down. Please let everybody know who you are, what you're repping, where you're from, and then we're gonna jump right on into the show. Please go ahead on.
Peace, peace, peace. My name is Kwesi Fraser from Brooklyn, part of the Night Riders crew. We got a lot going on. I guess for myself, I also have a juice business. Drink Fresh Juice, so you can find online.
That's AKA Dr. Fresh.
Dr. Fresh. Drink Fresh juices out here.
We'll be delivering soon. Hopefully free deliveries to Brooklyn. So, shout outs to Brooklyn.
All day.
Yeah.
The bias is strong for Brooklyn inside here. I
love
appreciate you,
Brooklyn.
big homie. Thank you.
I'll pass it to my brother right here.
Yo, this is Dre, a.k.a. T. Andre, a.k.a. Andre Pinard, part of the Night Riders clique.
Yeah.
Sure.
Night Riders, it's a brotherhood. These guys, over 20 years.
There we go.
I don't even want to go above the 20 years. It was over 20 years. So we move in a way that's about a singular mindset, a shared mindset. For me, once again, 25 years in New York, in Brooklyn, teacher, marketer, father, son, first generation Haitian.
Say,
Yeah, Sagafet. Click, clack, click. Merci beaucoup. So yeah, that's it, man. I got a lot to go on, but it's about a brotherhood, and it's about sharing some energy, and it's about sharing vibes for over 20 years, and in that sense of bringing that positive energy, that's what you felt, and that's what hopefully we can get into. You know?
Yeah. Love it. And Dre, I need this math on these glasses over here too, because these is official frames that you got.
Makita, Berlin,
Okay.
Makita.
There we go. I know exactly.
Shout out to my boy Jonas.
You listen, Jonas, you about to get another sale right here, brother. Don't be mad at me when I pull up with it, bro. That's all I'm trying to let you know.
Okay.
You know? All right, we got past the mic. Come on now. Let's go.
Name is Reg Wins. Repping Bed-Stuy.
All day.
Bed-Stuy, Brooklyn. Original Stuy. Styrese. All the
Red
official
Stuy.
acronyms. Red Stuy. Regiment. Daily Regiment. Creative at heart. Slasher. It's less about what I do. It's more about what you need done.
There we go. Bars on bars.
All day.
All right, the show's over. We can walk off.
Novice trainer now. Really got into a training mindset over the last couple of years.
Love it.
And as the gentleman said, we're talking 1990 forever.
Right. 93 too. Infinity, baby.
Yeah, you're talking high school.
Right.
First class I walked into, met this cat. You talking 7 years old, met this cat on the block. You talking first year of college, met this cat.
Right.
And then, everybody clicked up, connected. Through these three gentlemen, I see a lot of my life,
Man.
So that's a lot of the energy you felt on the ride, because that's the core of the ride, is us riding for each other.
Man, I love it. I love it. All right, we gotta keep on going, passing the mic on down.
MC?
Hey, we gotta get you on the mic. We got it.
It's me, Rasa Ojeda, Brooklyn native.
There we go.
Original Brooklyn. Father, student, designer, entrepreneur. And the sentiment that's been going around is the movement was very organic. You know what I'm saying? This wasn't something that we planned on doing. And that's kind of been the vibe of us getting together on bikes. It was, really a way to make time for fellowship.
Yeah.
While still adulting, while still being parents, while still having a lot more responsibilities. Even the term itself came about because, that was after hours. I'm talking about after 10 p.m.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Can I
After the
jump in
kids.
on that?
Hold up.
Go ahead.
I know y'all been waiting to hear what
Come on.
Wu-Tang joint. What happens is men, I feel like you get families, you get steadies, you get babies, you get responsibilities, and all of a sudden you're trying to figure out the context and when to connect. Right? And it's no longer as simple as I'm outside your door. It's no longer as simple as
Right.
no longer as simple as meet me for lunch. I'm on 34th,
Come
you on
outside.
23rd.
Right, come outside.
It's no longer that
I'm pulling
simple. And then also you're trying to contextualize it because, like I said, you got multiple kids, or you got a serious lady, or you got a new situation, responsibilities.
Yeah.
So what you doing leaving the house? Who is you to leave the house at 10 o'clock?
Who you going with?
Who you with?
Oh, Reggie's gonna be there? Oh, Roz is gonna be there?
Right.
Oh, Quace? Okay,
Right.
okay.
I know that.
All
It's okay.
I know them.
It's okay.
Right.
So even if you come in the house smelling like mezcal
Or Fanta.
or Fanta,
Right.
Or a
I know-
combination of both.
That sounds like a good night.
I know who you with. You know what I'm
Yes,
saying?
yes.
So that became an element. And then the second element, I think, also is you can't say no to fitness. You know what I mean? No one can say, you need to stop that bike riding.
Yeah.
Right.
You need to stop that jogging.
Yeah.
You need to stop taking care of yourself.
Right.
You know what I mean? And so from that context, cats began to get together. And to me, it started out simple. I remember the first night. We're going to just do some laps around the park. Word. And again, we talking about years of friendship.
Yeah.
So one lap turns into, let's do this for time. Time turns into, let's race. Race turns into, if
Let's
we
go
really
further.
body, let's go downtown.
Right.
Downtown
Cross the bridge,
turns
son.
into, you
So
really
with this
body,
bridge.
Go across
so
this
with
bridge.
bridge. Next thing you know, you in Harlem.
Right.
Right.
Next thing you know, it's 20 miles every time you get together.
Yeah.
And then that fed off of itself into a dynamic.
For me too, I think it was at least the origin point was also very clear for me and distinct because I was out of the country and I just came back into the country. And so I hadn't seen these guys in 6 years. And so much had changed from when I left in the world to when I came back.
Yeah, for all of us.
Yeah, just how New York was, or
was moving.
I left with one child, came back with 3. You know what I'm saying?
You was busy out there.
Yeah, I was on the island. You know what I'm saying? It's hot.
Team no pull out. Sometimes you gotta leave it in when you leave it in. I got
There you go.
Take care of business. That's that Hugo, baby. He's getting in there. I
All I'm
like
saying
it.
is it's hot in the islands. a lot of sun.
Good tune.
Right.
Right.
Food is
Pause. Yes.
out there, sun kissed. I
Fresh
said,
everything.
juice.
Yes.
Right.
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 That vitamin D is wicked out
there was
there.
It was a lot of originating going on. Origin point going on.
Creative energy.
You know what I'm saying?
Creative
Seems
energy
lit.
and synergy.
Very fertile. So at the time, I came back and I was like, I didn't know what his schedule was like, Reg's schedule was like, Roz's schedule was like, and it was like, how do we get together? You know what I'm saying? What is that common point? And we had occasionally, I think even earlier in the summer, because I came back around June, we had hooked up a couple times and done things as a family. Take our kids to Coney Island, go to the beach, right? But it wasn't giving us
that male
individual,
fellowship.
that bonding
Yeah,
time that
yeah,
we're
yeah.
used to having dominate our every interaction.
Yep.
Now it was like not even tertiary. It was the last part of the day. You know what I'm saying? And it also lent itself to, traffic is easier at night and it's more fun and you can cover more ground, and also other things were going on because New York was old New York. You know what I'm saying? As far as New York is concerned, where things were going on at night, where you could pull up with your bike, lock it, go inside, like they said, have a cocktail, listen to some vibes. And it allowed us to really just, at least for me, reconnect with my brothers.
Yeah, absolutely.
I'm going to build off that before you jump into your next question.
Go for it.
Ultimately, Night Riders was a way for us to take the energy that we were sharing amongst ourselves and spread it out to a larger group.
Yeah.
But to Roz's point in the beginning, it was a way of how can we, some people say, how do you pour some in the cup, right? Like when you have a relationship with everybody or someone, individuals, there's an exchange value and a use value. And so, you also want to pour some in the cup so you keep the cup full somewhat. It's never empty. And I think it was a way for us to refill our cups with each other, right? And navigate life in a way that allowed us to have that fellowship. So then after we left one another, because we had spent so much time as a clique, you could still have some in your cup to sustain you until next time, and hopefully that's the energy that you're feeling, and everybody now, gets to magnify.
And not to be remiss, but there's another, I would say member of the group, and maybe even two in my mind.
Yeah, absolutely.
I would say one who's not here with us, moved to North Carolina, like I would say year 3 of us really kind of getting back together.
Shout out
Chris,
Chris Wade.
Shout out Jordan Mahone.
Right.
Yeah.
Even though you took
Shout
your
out
bike
Art
home
Walker.
Right.
Even though you took your bike home on that ride to Harlem.
On the train.
Yeah, that's
You was riding to
that's
Harlem.
funny. Tell them that story. That's
Yo,
actually a
You
funny
ain't
story.
say nothing. You just got on the train and left. And then text has like,
My man came out with a fixie. And I told you it started with we just riding around the city. So 20 years of friendship, 20 plus years of friendship, egos start playing around. Next thing I know, we was riding to Harlem.
But explain the bike scenarios at that time, because that was we have evolved right now.
Yeah.
We all have
Right.
incredible wheels where we can go great distances comfortably and
right,
feel
this is
confident.
relatively early.
Right.
This is
Exactly.
relatively early.
I had a made up bike.
Fam, what's a made up bike?
All right, so one of my hustles at the time was a broker, right?
Okay.
And I noticed quickly I could get around town quicker on a bike than in the car. So I had my man hook me up a dope bike, but beat it up so I could park it anywhere. Because bike theft in Williamsburg is high.
real.
Bike theft in white neighborhoods is real high. Let's just call it what it is.
Wow.
No, be real. In Williamsburg, it was high. Like, you locked your bike up. So I had him scrape it up, and it looked like a beat-up bike, but it could really make it happen. So I had that one, but it was pieced together. Dre had the official Starlight Express.
Wow.
Roz always got to do it.
Yeah, he always had a
He
different-
always
I had the same bike that I have right now.
Yeah, there we go.
But you authenticated the bike now. It's
I mean,
like red,
you
white,
know.
and green. And
You know what I mean? Had
Extra
to give a little
special.
bit of, a little signature.
yeah,
You know, a little
Put some
signature.
swag on it.
Nothing to do with the pink hat. Now. Something to have a fly
It's
bike.
minimal. It's minimal, yo. You know what I mean? The accents are minimal. They're not really, but
Yeah.
But anyway, it was the same bike.
yeah, and our boy had a flip bike, I think.
Yeah,
It was
fold
a
up
flip
bike.
bike.
one of those
Fold-up
fold-up
joints.
Pause for a second. Hold
Yeah,
on.
exactly.
Right.
And that's when it was
why I
over.
want
respect
That's
that.
when it was over.
Yeah.
That's when it was over.
That's why I want you to understand.
I
Rod's got to specialize. He got a fold-up bike.
Y'all took homie uptown with the fold up.
So
Yes.
he started out thinking we was riding Brooklyn. We
Right.
crossed the bridge.
That
He was
is
like-
true.
Yeah,
he was
because
like,
we went by Brooklyn Bridge Park.
Yeah.
And I was like, yo, we'll start with the
What's up with
bridge.
the
He
bridge?
made it
But
across the bridge,
He
though.
did
He
make
Made
it
it across the
bridge.
bridge.
He's a big dude.
He's a big dude. He's a tall.
Cleveland. You know what I'm saying?
A big dude on a fold up bike.
Thank
Fold up.
Fold up bike.
But listen, in shape, he was getting
Yeah,
it.
he was.
But around
Until he wasn't.
But around 12th Street,
Right.
Yeah.
it got real.
Nervous.
So we all getting it, we riding, and then all of a sudden around 20-something Street, you do that look behind, like we're Jordan.
Distance getting deeper
so
and deeper.
I double back because that's one of my responsibilities.
yeah.
Whenever
Sweeper.
we ride.
Yeah.
Sweeper.
Sweeper.
Yep.
I enjoy doubling back because it's a way to get like extra miles and get the calorie burn.
For
whatever.
sure.
So I double back 14th Street. I don't see him. So we got nervous. We texted. Finally, we're like, all right, he's a grown up. We'll figure it out. We get a text by the time we get to town like, yeah, I'm in Brooklyn. Son. I had to go on that A train.
Right. What had happened was I folded this shit up, took it right back with me.
Just so you know, prepare that to be my first ride. I ain't been on a bike since the Sonic 6.
Damn.
Wow.
It's in there.
But that's when you could get on the A train and not have a problem. Right now, I'm not getting on the A train.
Right.
Yeah, the same. I haven't been riding. Fellas, I just love the camaraderie that I hear inside here because it's something that is special to have a moment where we can get Black intellectuals, Black creators, Black whatever the case is, just men inside of the same room and celebrate each other. That's a rare condition. And I really do want to make sure that whatever we do, we champion that every single time. And to hear that camaraderie that I felt is palpably authentic at the first ride. I was like, damn, I caught a flat on the first ride. I was like, damn, I got to make it back. I'm gonna be honest with you because it's just like, yo, this is crazy. I've been dying to thirst, looking for something where I could be around a bunch of people and actually do something that is going to be informative and not just active, but also in the pressure cooker that this year was. I don't know if you guys know the oil that you struck inside here, but man, as soon as I saw it, I knew exactly what I was looking at. I was like, I see this camaraderie, I see this brotherhood, and I want to champion that in every single way of shape and form. And my brother right over here on this side has been with me for most of those rides too, so I know he could speak to that as well.
First, you didn't say how you got to the Night Riders because that was that intro.
You wasn't. Listen, I tried to set him up. Leave something good.
He leave with love, but he finished with hate.
He finished with hate every time.
No, but I wanted to highlight that that ride that you talked about when you got the flat was the Juneteenth ride.
Yeah.
So that was the one where I was like,
Epic.
come on. And when you got the flat, I was like, yo, this is my brother right here. Like, I can't do this ride without you. So I walked him back to the crib from Brooklyn that day, but we definitely pulled up at Brooklyn Museum and, you know, watched the pull out and to see everybody on Eastern Parkway. And for the listeners that don't know what Eastern Parkway is, imagine the biggest street that you got in wherever you live at, full with bikers.
Champs-Elysees of Brooklyn.
I heard we had upwards of 800 people that were out on that ride.
That's conservative.
Yeah.
I've seen the videos.
But I got to tell you,
I thought it was over 1,000.
I got to tell you, it was beautiful because we said that was going to be the seminal public face of Night Riders. Because before that, it had been organic, it had been a brotherhood. That was the first public face, and we planned it. It was super well planned, where we were going to go, what was going to be said, the educational component. Yeah. We brought in a sister because we wanted to have that gender equity there. She's a dynamic rider. She's strong.
Yeah, shout out to
much love to Gozi.
Boom.
Here we go.
And ironically, quiet as kept, the brainchild of that ride caught a flat by the time we got to Fort Greene.
Exactly.
And the rest of the brothers, because we scout the rides, there's time invested in this as well. You know, it was a labor of love. And we started to get much more dialed and professional with it. We started to make sure, because of things that we had done in other places, whether it be through running, we took those learnings and we scouted the rides. We knew what we needed to have stops. We have calls a couple times a month, you know? So the plan was beautiful, but even Raza caught a flat on that one, but we still got through that ride. It was tight. It was
libations.
I was tight.
I mean,
it
flowers, libations.
Yeah, and then it was more than the flat. Like, my bike was done. I could have fixed the flat. You know what I mean? But it was like the valves, and I have an extra inner tube. It was a wrap,
You knew what was going to happen in some way, shape, or form. I got to that situation and realized, like, I'm missing all of this right here.
That was only our fourth public ride.
No.
That might have been the
second.
Yeah,
that was the second
public ride.
Third, no more than the third. Yeah.
When we got up there, because when you get to Brooklyn Museum and there's that little ledge and we stand on there and Night Riders, we blow the whistle.
Exactly. You let them know what's going on.
We all looked at each other when we saw the crowd. Like, we got there, we was chilling, cats was yucking it up like we normally do. And then when it was time to start and we looked out and we saw like 100, 200 people. And you got to know that day was a protest day. There was a lot going on that day. All over the city for Juneteenth. We had a crowd of another 150 ride past before we started.
Exactly.
That were in a whole other crew.
Right.
Different setup. And I remember seeing all of that. And I'm sitting there, I'm sick. I'm like, yo, y'all doing this tonight? I'm sitting here with a flat. I can't even get into it. But
it's
I
funny
knew.
because after that night, that's when I started carrying inner tubes to make sure we don't
The next call was
so
like,
did I.
we need this.
So did I.
I only need
I was like, oh, I got you know what I mean? Everything, patch kit, all of it.
So you finally got some like biking prophylactics.
Yeah,
Exactly.
Had to keep it strapped.
You know what I mean?
Facing the
Safety
weight.
first.
You gotta keep bike safety.
Double strap.
You're gonna be strapped up on this bike.
Not in Cayman though.
Right.
Not in Cayman.
To give you, just to rewind real quick, because we're talking about the Juneteenth ride and I have a context. But contextually, and you could speak to this too, is how do we celebrate Juneteenth? Because this year, to me, and this is just my own personal feelings, the views expressed by Reg Wins, not necessarily represent the views of
all in the room.
or anybody in the room. But I felt like Juneteenth was getting into that commemorative Hennessy bottle moment.
Crown Royale.
Like it was gonna be Juneteenth featuring Crown Royale. Like I just felt like it was getting
Never stop, never settle.
Yeah, right.
Right. It was getting very, very
Commercialized. It was
It definitely was.
And it was heightened because of all we were dealing with. We were locked
Right,
inside.
right,
George
right.
Floyd.
We got
Right,
George Floyd. We got
On
those
and on
who
and
are
on.
conscious. We got
Right.
those who are just coming into relevance of consciousness. We got people who can't even understand what's going on. And everybody's also needing to physically exert energy.
You have to.
And a lot of white guilt, too.
White guilt and
Ton
white
of it.
fragility.
Ton of it.
Indeed.
Ton of it.
Tons,
Both.
tons.
Both.
And so the thought was, how do we celebrate Juneteenth, but also bring some recognition to the history that's
Historical
right
significance of
under
it.
us.
Yeah,
And that's what's
exactly.
important.
Right? Like we walk by, across, over,
Right.
You know what I mean?
around
Regularly.
all of this history every day.
Right.
Like when you say Black Lives Matter, they matter because we are at the forefront. We're the cornerstone. Like
precipice.
how Bob Marley say the stone that was refused.
Right,
Will
right.
always be, brother.
Cornerstone.
The head cornerstone.
Ashe.
Right.
And here we go. Here we go. The snaps. Here we go.
You know.
Time check. 8:31.
But so as we were putting the route together, it was like, okay, we got Weeksville, one of the oldest black settlements in Brooklyn. That's right in Crown Heights.
Right.
Okay, we got the African Burial Ground.
Mm-hmm.
We got Wall Street,
Right.
which originally was a wall built by brothers and sisters. And big shout out to Rasul, who came out that day
And broke it down.
and broke it down eloquently
Yeah.
at the site. So what was great is organically, even though brother caught a flat, we also had other brothers and sisters that felt called or moved to speak at different sections.
And we're knowledgeable.
Yeah, they were not.
Yes.
That was
Yeah.
the most important part.
100%.
And
right?
the
They knew
big
what they
part
were
for
talking
me
about.
was your nephew rode the whole thing.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
I remember he got the flat and he hit me like, yo, my nephew's riding.
Yeah.
What's Tristan, 16?
At the time, for
At the
sure.
time, he's like 16. He's like, my nephew's riding. Keep a lookout for him. So that was an added thing. It was like, oh man, this is intergenerational. So
Didn't we catch a flight at
so
the end
that
of the ride?
we caught a flight at the end of the ride because
After
everyone
we took
got
the- 'cause we
hyped.
took the bridge. 'cause we
Yeah,
took the
Everyone
bridge.
got hyped and was like, let's take the bridge. Well, we got uptown. First of all,
The
we
street
got-
side.
We got
like the car
uptown,
side.
like
Like
the
the car
car
section.
Yeah,
not
I know.
the-
We
not
got all the way to
you know what I mean?
we got to Seneca Village.
Yep.
Top of Central Park. I remember the moment when we were on the West Side Highway, on the highway.
Hold on, real quick. Pause. You got to remember, this is early COVID.
Yes.
So like the streets are empty. Like
yeah.
empty.
For the most
For
part,
sure.
yeah.
like we're riding through
6th Ave,
6th
owning it.
Ave. Like
No problem.
Owning
no
it.
problem. No cars. No nothing.
Easy.
Yeah.
And police were on alert, so they giving us escorts because
Yep.
they're like, we don't want nobody to think there's gonna be no problems.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
So the
For
next thing
sure.
I know, I remember being on the West Side Highway, and I drive. I'm an avid driver,
Yeah.
so I'm like, are we on the highway?
That's exactly
No
right.
problem.
And we had the highway from Intrepid to
all
Canal.
the way down to Canal.
Mhm.
No problem.
Owned it.
No problem.
Easily 1,000 bikes just owning the highway, and then
That energy was crazy.
and it was crazy. So by the time we get to Manhattan Bridge, the energy's crazy, and the music, and everybody's feeling it. It's like, let's take the bridge to the bridge.
Take it
James
to the
Brown
bridge.
style. Take it to the bridge. Next thing you know, we are on the Manhattan Bridge, not on the bike lane. We are on the bridge.
Upper level.
Yeah.
Those who drive or know the bridge, you got those metal
Great.
Great joints.
That
I know
connects,
exactly what you're
yeah.
talking about.
and all it takes is one
Perfect size for your tire to go right in there.
It's easy.
It's a wrap. Done.
But in terms of like just the symbolic,
Break down
past
a
the
little bit more,
culture,
Raza.
we passed that, dropped off. I remember we got the flat.
Yep.
And then I had our other brother take Tristan home.
Exactly.
But that, I just remember that just generationally as a moment. You know?
Yeah.
There was so much about that ride You know what I mean? I was really looking forward to. Because Juneteenth had a lot of energy this year.
Yeah,
Definitely did.
Like, a lot of people were into it. A lot of
There's
people
a
were
lot of
about it.
wokeness
Yeah.
in 2020.
There was a stark contrast between the way people were celebrating it this year and last year.
Yeah.
Right?
100%.
And you had a different population
So I
that
think
was
for
down
me, part of the
to help
ride,
celebrate
too,
with you as well.
Was about understanding, like, yeah, this is the end of slavery, but understand it doesn't mean it's the beginning of freedom.
Yeah.
Right? And it's really more about honoring the sacrifice,
Mm-hmm.
right? Than like, okay, slavery is over. Don't get me wrong, slavery. It's a great thing. I'm glad that it was over.
Don't hear us
Like,
with the Kanye
you know what I'm
shit
saying?
right now, bro.
But
It was.
understand, like, that's not what it means. You know what I mean? So in terms of figuring out the route and where we were stopping and what was going on, like that's one thing I kept in mind when we were trying to figure out, okay, where are we going to go for this ride?
We specifically, once we realized that the population wasn't just folks, that it was much bigger than that, and we were cool with it.
Yeah.
We
Wanted to clarify.
110% looked at each other and all spoke to each other and said, let's clarify that this is not a protest ride.
Right.
Because any ride that was happening at that time
Was a protest.
no
Black
struggle,
lives
no
matter.
peace.
Right, yeah.
Black lives matter.
Right. No justice, no peace.
And we were like, yo,
That is a piece
Yes.
of this, but this is
This is a celebration.
enriching
Right.
Exactly. This is an enrichment.
That's actually one of the
Right.
most annoying parts of the ride sometimes. Like, we
just
get
be
that pretty
cheering you on.
regularly. I'm like,
Yeah.
yeah, we're just riding. You know?
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like, I hear you, but like,
but that's the
What's this
zeitgeist
about?
right
What's
now.
this for?
Yeah,
Like,
what are you
nah,
guys
we
riding
just-
for?
If you don't know, give it back.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But on the flip side, Roz, and I said this to you before, is our presence became a protest.
100%.
Yeah.
Particularly in the time that we're living in. It's 2020. Some people were so scared that just the idea of a group outside riding in and of itself became a symbol of something.
Right.
Yes.
Whatever they don't even know what, but it's just like, wow, you guys have courage to get together and ride.
Yeah.
It's
You
so
know what I mean?
beautiful.
It's so beautiful. And so I think that, it was just quite astonishing that despite it not being it is annoying that we would pass places and people be
Like,
clapping.
yeah, you did it.
It felt good though.
Right.
just
It
ride.
felt
I'm not
good.
saying that it doesn't.
But it's
you know what I mean? But it's
also-
also like, yo,
What's
can
the
we just-
purpose?
Not what's the purpose, but it's more like, yo, we're just riding bikes. Like, there's some very human thing
Yeah.
to do. It's
It-
not like it's sometimes I feel like it's not even I feel like it's obvious that the way blackness is treated is that it's outside of
The
what
norm.
the rest of the world does, right?
Yeah.
It's outside of the norm. We're just on bikes. We're just getting
Yeah.
together having a good time. It's not a protest, you know what I'm saying?
They look puzzled.
Right.
Like when they ask you,
I'm
they're
like, I'm not-
what is this for? And we're like, we're just riding.
We're just riding.
They look
Be
like,
out.
wait a minute, what?
Yeah.
What's
Right.
going
Are
on?
you really
Right.
just riding?
But the other thing is also like we've been doing this, right? And y'all ain't said nothing all this other time.
Yeah, because riding right now means something
Something
different.
different. Yeah.
Yeah.
Right? Just around COVID and this whole situation that we're all going through, everybody has decided, especially because gyms were closed too, right? At
Exactly.
that time. You got to remember the climate. Like, there were like 3 forms of exercise. You can
Running.
skate, right? Run, skate, or ride. You know,
Walk.
right? Walk. I mean, if you want to ride. So anytime you saw somebody riding, to them, it was, to most people, it was like, what's this about? You know, like, there's got to be a greater reason why you got 50 people riding to go to the park. You know what I'm saying?
Absolutely. Yeah, and it speaks to the nature of people projecting their ideology onto what this blackness is, right?
Right.
And if we really get to it and we distill that aspect, there's power in your presence every single time you pull up to some place, regardless of whether or not what your intention was. And that's what one of the things that I noticed immediately, because it is a real reaction when you hear people yelling, rolling through the stop sign. It's, what's happening? I need to know what's going on. I need to know, who are these people? What are they here about? What are they doing? You looking like, again, nobody's coming up there dressed like they're not really trying to be seen.
Right.
Nobody's coming up there like we not clad in spandex from head to toe. It's a different vibe, right? To be honest about it, there's some swag.
Organizational component.
There's organization. There's leadership, because there's years of brotherhood that have been founded in this institution. And we have to talk about that for the glory that it really is. Because even if you think it's something ordinary, if other people see it as extraordinary, we have to celebrate that, because that is our goal. That is our vibranium.
Yep.
That's the thing that we need to go outside and trade as much as we need to, because regardless of how y'all looked at it, other people saw it and they felt something. What is that but marketing? What is that but advertising? What is that but amplification in some way, shape, or form? And when you can really be a catalyst to make somebody feel something and then go do something, my brothers,
control. Yeah.
you are in that mind
That's
control.
the power of community. I know you want to say something. That's the power of community. And all of us, when you say marketing, when
Yeah.
you say understanding power community, when you say teaching, all of us have been, this guy studied marketing, was a marketer, I'm a marketer, this guy's, all of us have understand the power of having a shared mindset,
Yeah.
sharing that with people, they believe in it, and what that can do, what it can yield. It can yield people to move, it can yield them to stop, it can yield them to purchase, it could yield them to participate. And I think we used it for good.
Right.
Like,
Right.
and we said, hey, let's get them to participate in a healthy form of
Activity,
expression.
yeah.
And that's exactly the thing that I want to distill a little bit more. I want to get into the understanding of where that love of life and celebration came from. Because again, it's something that you guys did organically. I don't hear a decree saying, you know what, we're going to get X amount of people to come out on this day and we're going to take care of this and we're going to get those, the route to revenue is going to be this and all that. You would have did this without the celebration, right? So I need to know where the love comes from, right? I need to understand how this whole thing of, you know, just being somebody that's going to fortify themselves, fortify the brothers that surround them, and ultimately end up fortifying the community that comes about. I need to understand where that comes from. And I know we jumped in and we had all kind of camaraderie and all the rest of that stuff, but I need to get to the heart of this question. Reg, I'm going to look at you first because my brother right now, I am impeccably influenced by one of your works in particular, okay, that comes from a little earlier in the career. And if I throw this out here, my brother,
Throw it.
if I throw it out here, I think you're gonna know where I'm coming from.
Bro. He did his homework.
Oh, you don't understand. This, my life was predicated by this movie right here.
On the bandstand, Google got hand from the best Chinese restaurant in the land. That was nice.
These cats are renting 10, a new act. We just signed a millennium.
Brother, so I gotta sit here and I gotta ask you. You know I got some questions.
Just so you know, Tony got the coat.
I got some questions. Reg, it's only right that we start off with you. When I asked you, my brother, where were you when you first fell in love with this thing that we call wellness right here, brother? When did that come about in your storyline?
Where was I when I first fell in love with wellness?
And we gonna let the listeners know why I had to pick you first in a second, but I want you to jump in where you came from, brother.
I mean, truthfully, my wellness journey, as long as I can remember, man. I'm from the era of freeze tag, Coca Livio.
Okay, 1, 2, 3.
Run, catch, kiss.
Run, catch, kiss.
Can't play that now.
Come on, bro.
Come on, bro.
You're a little too quick.
You know what I mean? They're taping. They're taping this, bro.
Hide and go get it.
Bro, son,
Sorry, I'm
they're
wrong.
taping this.
Team pull out, baby.
Know when to hold up. When to walk away.
I did a lot of walk
When
aways
to
and a couple of runs.
Right.
Counter blessings.
The truth of the matter, Tone, is I'm blessed to have had friendship and community at such an early space that I took it for granted. So 7 years old, step out my crib to just go play Skelly or go to the park. And it's like, yo, there's a new cat on the block. Back in the day, you couldn't say La Raza, right? If you was from a Caribbean place, you was a coconut.
Exactly.
If you was
Tell
Haitian,
'em.
you was an African booty scratcher.
Tell
Let's
'em.
be real. We was so ignorant in the hood. We was ignorant in the hood. And I'm American Negro. You know what I'm saying? You know, all my Caribbean connects is through my friends. It's all blessed down. But I remember no one could say his name and was like, oh, that's Russell. And he's like, all right,
Eventually,
I'll just be Russell. It's
like,
cool.
it's fine.
But like, so from 7, those formative years, you're talking about friendship. And that's that Brooklyn, this is my block. Like in Brooklyn, to me, it's either you had the Jacks. If you was in the projects, you had crew, which I always envied at that time because you had crew, or you had your block. And it was Hancock TNT. For those that haven't taken Black Pearl, that's Triple Tompkins. Right? So you Hancock TNT, this is your block, this is your community. From that community, it went to high school. I met Quace. Yo, you in Flatbush? I'm in Bed-Stuy. Okay, bet. Yo, you gotta come over my crib, come over your crib. Having families who are like, you ain't spending the night at too many people's cribs. I need to meet his parents. Meet the parents at a PTA. All right, I like them. They about something. You could spend the night at his crib. That's it. So then it's like, yo, come to my block. Then they meet. So the wellness aspect from a mental wellness space, I would say started very, very early and formative. right? Just in a way you take it for granted. You take church for granted as a youth, which gives you structure, it gives you a place to speak, it gives you a chance to be in leadership positions historically in our community. You take school for granted. You take choir for granted. These are things that all I was involved in. Hip hop, music, rhyming, dancing, connecting, performing. All of these things were a big part of my life. So that became the foundation for my wellness, right? But over the last, I would say 5 years, I've become to understand how the physical component, particularly as you become a man in your 30s, I think, there's so much coming at us that you have to have some sort of, Quay's got the jiu-jitsu, Dre put me on to the running. Ross has always been a weights guy, you know what I'm saying? Like, you need some place to sort of put that energy and restore and challenge self against self. Yeah. For the purpose of nothing. Right? And so I really began to sort of dive into that space over the last 5 years, really getting focused on trying to make this a steady component of my diet. And so all of that kind of gets us to that. Brown sugar is something separate, but that's how the question is. If I'm feeling the audience, and that's how the question
I appreciate it, man. I appreciate it. One, I just want to celebrate.
How you find Ren and 10, yo? Tell me
First of all,
that hoe is mine.
I had to bring it out. Hold it,
I used to sing that to my ex. She got real mad.
Oh, wow. You should not sing that to anybody directly.
That's why she's the ex.
That's just that's a bad public service announcement. We can't have that out here on the side.
Was that an ad lib or not? Tell us. Was that an ad lib?
The song?
Yeah.
The writing of the song was created on the fly, but the idea was in the script. But most of that movie was an amazing, actually first movie shot in New York post 9/11.
Yeah. And my affinity for that is because I know exactly where I was at in high school when 9/11 happened. And one of the first movies, the movie theater on Court Street is where exactly I went to go see that. I lived on that block later in life. I live along the promenade now. Right. I'm talking about scene by scene. Wow. I have a direct affinity for so many things that came from that movie. So in no short way, a lot of the stuff that we do is directly informed by this hip hop culture and the love that I have and the affinity that I have for that. And I would defend Brown Sugar as not just a rom-com, but a hip-hop documentary. In every way, shape, or form. For what was happening in that Soul Aquarians time frame.
Yes.
I love every aspect of it. It just perfectly encapsulates. I know the blocks. I know the scenes. I know the words. And I was like, wait a second. I've been riding with this brother the whole summer.
Little did I know. I
ain't even had that ready. I was like, fam, I just want to celebrate the fact that all connected back in that same direction.
I appreciate that, man. My thoughts on that are always, Denzel Washington to me said it best. I'm an ordinary guy with an extraordinary job.
My brother, you just said Denzel Washington said to you.
Casual flex. You know, Denzel Washington said to me.
Yeah.
Man. It's a humble flex.
No.
But that's real.
I'm a foot. No. Because I want to foot. I always listen. I'm great at improv, but it all comes from places. I'm just a vessel, right? So I like to footnote. Where it come from.
Right before you go ahead.
Particularly with the Vida San Luis del Loco.
Yeah, I like it.
Miente Mezcal, you know what I mean? I don't want nobody to be like, yo, did you just rob my line?
Fam.
Funny thing about that movie, and before we I don't want to digress too late.
Yeah.
But one of my dreams as a kid was to get on a train like I'm going to a regular job and make a film that I cared about in New York. And that was a seminal opportunity that at that time, I mean, I fight clawed and scratched on that one because I was up for the most death roll, but I didn't sell no records. I ain't sold no records.
Most at that time is a tough one to beat, man.
What?
That's a tough one to beat.
True official hip hop apostle.
I listen. I was with it. I was in that camp. Completed.
And that's the brother. That's the brother. We went to junior high school together. Shout out to IS 383. So like, I couldn't be anything more than excited that he got the role. And I remember fighting and trying to claw to figure out how to get in. So I got invited to a table read, and in the table read, we just took the script and flipped it. And big shout out to Rick Famuyiwa, who let us improv a lot.
Yeah.
And they decided off that improv to keep it. keep me in the cast. And side note, he did the marketing for the release. So the release of the movie, we were driving around. What brand was that?
It was GM.
It was GM. GM did all the rollout of the cars to get us
It
from
was
the
when they did the
Ziegfeld.
Hummer, the Pontiac Vibe. It was all the little.
So like we was able to like just connect and share that. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
With the fam. So that was a big moment. But like that was the goal for me coming up as an artist. Like, how can I make a living, but also like get to do something that I love? Just going on the train like everybody else to work.
Yeah,
You know what I
man.
mean? So big it up, man.
Bro, I know what
Great
Fat
work,
Beats
brother.
was. I understand.
And crazy. Let's just rope it back in. It's crazy how you met your cousin
Cuz. Family.
on a ride,
For real.
and that's our fam from college.
I didn't even know that.
That was my freshman year. Like Kareem was my freshman year.
RA?
RA.
And he was
Yeah.
my freshman year RA.
Okay.
And I'm talking about real family.
Yeah,
That's
like
not
legit.
even, that's
We
real.
got to
fa-
get into that one.
That's
Kareem
a whole
Lawrence.
nother
Big
situation.
shout out to Kareem
You've been
Lawrence.
waiting to say something for a minute, man. You got
We gotta
some
let
questions. Let's go, bro.
we gotta let our brother set up
I'm
the
a
other side of the
talkative
question.
dude, man. I'm always ready to talk.
Brother Corey, can you set up some of the other brothers with the brown sugar inspired question?
Oh, shoot.
Now that we actually brought it full circle, we got to bring it all the way around.
Rasa, you quietly like a real interesting cat over here. I want to know from you, where were you at when you first fell in love with wellness?
The way I was raised, a child, for me, it's been an evolution of it, right? So I'm going to answer the question to me, when it became holistic.
All right.
And that would probably be about maybe 2008, somewhere around there, where to me, I was, okay, I'm going to start being more physical. I grew up looked at the time as I'm not allowed to eat that. You mean I can't have tricks, Fruit Loops, not in this house. No.
When you visited out.
No, not when you, wherever you know. That you can't have that. So that side of it, you know what I'm saying? That I was raised into that. You know what I mean? And then just through my upbringing, there came the mental side of it.
Yeah.
Right? Just being educated as far as what's going on around me. That was also part of my household. But then the other aspects of it, when I started to become more independent, when I started to develop other things, like I wasn't super physical as a kid. Like I didn't play sports like that. You know what I mean? It just
You
wasn't
was
really.
mad physical though, son.
I mean, yeah, but like,
Yeah, mad
I wasn't
fights.
trying out for. That's a little different.
Mad fast bike rides.
That's a little different.
Mad races.
You know what I mean?
Scrapping and
handball
racing.
I wasn't
crazy.
trying out for like the basketball team, right? Like I
Yeah.
wasn't trying to go run a full. That just wasn't my thing.
Team sports wasn't
Yeah,
it?
it's just, you know what I mean? I just
I
wasn't
got you.
doing that. So it wasn't until later in life when I first got my bike, actually the same bike that I have, and then I
How'd
was
you
working
get
at the Ralph Lauren mansion at the time.
Okay.
I was like, you know what? I'm gonna ride
Humble
my
flex.
bike.
Here we go.
To work.
Back in here.
Mansion, okay? Here we
Right?
go.
I'm gonna ride my
Not
bike
the
to
store.
work. And I was in Bed-Stuy. And I was riding up
Mhm.
to 72nd in Madison. You know what I mean? So every day it was like maybe 14 miles.
Okay.
And that was when I was like, okay, cool. Then I started running a lot, right? I was like, I'm gonna get on this run shit.
Big up
I was,
to
I
you,
was,
run.
oh, okay, I'm gonna get on this run shit.
Big up.
You know what I'm saying? And this is before I started running with Adidas. This was like maybe 2 years before, right? I was regularly running. And that's when, to me, I started paying more attention to my diet, like what I should be eating. And that time to now, I've probably done like maybe about at least 13 or 14 half marathons. You know what I mean? Me and Reg go to the gym. We would hit the gym up regularly. You know what I'm saying? Like those type. And then paying attention to diet and exactly what I'm eating. That's been relatively recent. You know what I mean? That hasn't been my entire life in terms of thinking about it. In terms of my mental wellness, just a lifestyle and my lifestyle in that way.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? That's been, like I said, perhaps a little while after my daughter was born.
It's funny how
They'll do it to you.
I'll do it.
Daughters will do it to you.
Interestingly enough, a little while after she was born.
Yeah.
Hey man, put-
Yeah. Girl dad.
You can't throw hands no more. You gotta go.
Oh no, that could happen.
still got it. I'm retired. Dust them off. Especially now. Answer the door like bad boys.
You know what I mean? You just never know when it has to happen.
Love it.
I don't want to rule it out.
Do that.
That's the art of
I don't want to
diplomacy.
rule it out.
Exactly.
Diplomacy is about
Right.
having a credible threat. You got to
Right,
keep it in
yeah.
the back pocket.
Yeah,
you
yeah,
know?
for sure.
At any point in time that you
Anything
need.
can happen.
You gotta have bumpy nuts.
Right. Anything can happen. I'm just saying.
Fellas, man, I think about all the rides that I went on this summer, and I just want to point out like notable memories that I have of just like I remember not even on a night riders ride. I remember riding down my block and running into Mike Flo and
big up Mike Flo
and riding down the block and seeing both of you like on the street working out like in the crib and just
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, for sure.
Just one of those and keeping it going. You know, I remember when we were at the bike race in Prospect Park. You know what I'm saying? And just being in that moment, I remember, you know, the Marine Park ride and just. I would have never went over that way. You know what I'm saying? But understanding that, like, yo, I'm with the family right now. We can do this. One of my favorite rides was probably the Coney Island ride of just riding out together, you know, but keep it
We got to get into these brother stories over here. We got to keep rolling.
We're going to get into the story. Well, then I'm going to set it up then. Say less. Brother Quasi.
Yes, sir.
Where were you when you fell in love with this thing we call wellness?
This
the one?
It's an interesting one for me. Right?
Say less.
Only because it was really clear at this time, as Dre said, I was involved in marketing. I was working for Heineken. I had worked for them for about maybe 4 or 5 years at the time. I was drinking a lot of Heineken. You know what I'm saying? I was traveling.
Come on, I gotta humble brag. You created Red Star Soul.
Okay, there was a lot of accomplishments within that time frame, as Reg said. One of them was Red Star Soul.
It's pretty important, man. That's massive.
The point was, I was still working out, but I was drinking. I was flying around. I was eating late. Like, I was in probably the worst, physical shape that I had been, but I didn't really know because I still felt strong, right? And so I had a friend.
Being big back then was cool.
Right?
Like, that's the era where, you had to be the big dude, you know what I'm saying? Even the marketing dude, big dude, you know what I mean? Big.
Big meant success, like CEO belly, you know what I mean?
Yes.
Suge Knight status.
Exactly.
Understood.
So then, out the window.
I had a friend who came, real quick, and he was like, yo, you're going to get cancer. He just told me straight up, you're going to get cancer. And I was like, what you mean? And he was like, you probably already have it. And I was like, nah, and he was like, nah, everybody has cancer. If you feed it, it will grow, right? And so it was like, oh, shoot, okay. But I wasn't really I was in the zone. I was working. I had a friend of mine whose mother was really ill. She had just recovered from cancer, whatever. And he was following a guy. I was like, yo, check out these DVDs. I put them in as Dr. Sebi.
Mm-hmm.
Right? And Dr. Sebi's a Sag. I'm a Sag. He has strong Spanish roots. I have Spanish roots. My dad's Panamanian. My mom's Jamaican.
Primo.
Right. Primo, right? Yeah.
Yo soy Panama.
Like baby
Gente. Lao Pe. So I just instantly had a connection with him. I went deeper into what he did and, understood the aspect of alkalinity and acidity and what that does to the body, and how you can create these environments that can allow you to fight off and stave off what people call dis-ease or disease. And then you have other situations where you can kind of create a situation where it will feed on it, and you'll literally force yourself down there. And like at that time, I was like, yeah, they think they slick. Food is really death made delicious, and like, you know what I'm saying? Like, cats is made.
That sounds like a marketing scheme.
Yeah, and like I was really into it. So I did a with my lady at the time, my wife now, but I did that break between Christmas and New Year's. You can only get 2 weeks off of work from corporate America, get to some, time, the downtime, and then New Year's you come back. I did a juice detox, an intensive, like what I call a juice feast, really. And I did 6 to 8 juices during the day. I made them myself, looked up obviously all the things that Sebi was saying to have. And I lost like 30 pounds.
Sidebar, met this dude in biology class. So the fact that his journey took him
back to the science.
Biology, because he is the science of juice.
AKA Dr. Fresh.
Dr. Fresh.
Okay? Dr. Fresh.
So I went in, I lost a ton of weight. I came back to work. People were like, what happened to you? Like I had to get a whole new wardrobe.
I remember that. He was wearing big collar shirts.
Shirt was mad loose. I couldn't buy like 10 more new, 10 new shirts at the time.
Right. Butterfly collar.
Right, exactly. Everything was broad neck.
Right. You know what I'm saying?
So I stayed on the grind really, and that's really kind of when I would say I fell in love with wellness. I became a vegan for like 5-6 years. I didn't have eggs. I didn't have wheat. Like I was very, very strict. And
hanging out with you was difficult.
Yeah. and I probably went down to like 167 pounds. I hadn't been that weight since I was a freshman in high school. Like, you know, I felt it because little kids would look at me different, right? I'd go on the train, they'd be like, yo, move out the way. Like, and I'm like, hold on a second. Wait a minute, you were talking to me.
The disrespect.
Yo, I'm telling you,
They was trying to son you?
Yeah,
like, they was trying to son you?
Yo,
Get out the door, son.
I got off the train, little guy was like, yo, watch out.
Move, you in
like,
the door, son.
I was like, I looked around, I couldn't believe it. But I was literally a different stature. Like, I had a different aura, everything. And then that's when like I moved out of the country. I started the juice business and really just went deeper and tried to dedicate my life to making sure that I could also share a lot of these experiences with other people because it's simple information. And to Ross's point, like you know what to do, right? You learn what to do, but sometimes you don't do it.
Right. Bro, what year was that you moved out?
2009.
Okay.
And then I came back in 15. For me, the love started there. Then obviously being in the islands, you get fresh produce, like you have direct to farmer access relationships. So when I came back, I had started a farm. And my thought was, you know, Rockefeller model, if I could control the distribution and the production of my juice, as well as the making of it and then the selling of it, like throughout the entire chain, I could really kind of maximize that. So it became, but at a certain point in time, honestly, the best thing for you cannot be commercially made.
Right.
Right. So anything that you're having on a commercial level, really and truly, it could be a better option, almost like the election. But no, it's not really, you know what I'm saying? It's really not good for you. You know what I'm saying? At the end of the day, and the best thing that you can do for yourself is at home.
Yeah, for sure.
You know what I'm saying? It's cook at home. So the one, if I could leave anybody with anything, I would tell you, take control of what you eat by cooking at home. You know what I'm saying? And stop eating out. There's eating for entertainment and there's eating for nutrition. And when you realize you eat more for entertainment than for nutrition and you constantly eat, then you get overeating. And then that just causes a whole nother realm.
Cyclical, man.
Yeah.
It's cyclical. It ends up being really erosive to your whole situation. But I love the way the brother brought it all together with the eating for entertainment.
Now you can buy suits off the rack.
Exactly. Exactly.
It's like,
Look at
we're trying to go out here and eat for entertainment.
Taylor. Look at the tailor. You're taking it in. You're not letting it out.
Now, last but not least,
Nah. Taking it in. You gotta take it in.
we got to get into the brother Dre.
Yes.
All right, now I want this to be on record that the first time I pulled up to the Night Riders, I seen the brother Dre in like the news reporter vest and like the fly fit, and I'm just like, damn, I need.
We about to go riding?
We biking or
Are we
this a fashion show on bikes?
Yeah.
Right? What's the end destination?
Just trying to gauge where I fall on that spectrum. Like, let me step my shit up.
Is that a limited release?
Right? What's that? I ain't never seen those. You know what I'm saying? But nonetheless, it was always love when I showed up. And, you know, so I got to ask you, Brother Dre, where were you when you fell in love with this thing we call wellness?
You know what? Similar to Raza, I was not the most sporty kid growing up. You can't see me right now, but I'm a MAGA man. You know, I'm a thin guy. So
But you the Dennis Rodman on any basketball court. You're on my team whenever, son. No shots, just rebounds and elbows, son.
Right.
All board, son.
don't sleep
All
on
board.
Don't sleep on the MAGA man.
Yeah.
Never sleep on the MAGA man. Never. But honestly though, when it became a part of my life was I would have to say about 4 years ago when I started and helped to kick something off called Adidas Runners in New York City, in LA, and my brothers Raza and my brothers Reg, Quasis, he's coming out soon. But I'm a sociologist by education and a marketer, and so I had this opportunity to understand what was happening in terms of running in New York. And instead of just going around and talking to people, I was hitting that 40 mark, and I would find myself looking at runners. Like I used to run cross country in between playing lacrosse because I grew up in Princeton. Speaking of coconut, I grew up playing lacrosse in Princeton. And so I'll find myself in Fort Greene Park, which is where I've been close to for the past 25 years. Just downtime, hanging out, rolling a spliff, doing whatever. And I'd see runners, and something kept on intuitively inside saying to me, like, you need to get back into that practice. And as God would have it, and as the creator would have it, this opportunity came up with work to understand the running landscape in New York. And I started spending time with runners. And then I started running with them to understand like what the running culture in New York was about. And then I took that into that experience and that knowledge and that research to actually help build a running community for Adidas in New York and in LA. And at that point,
man, I know a bunch of people. We never talked about this, but that's the world that we come from. I know a bunch of people that's in that side.
I started to meet people.
It'd be mad heads out there.
Oh, I know.
So let me tell you something.
I know.
Yeah.
I know what's going on.
It'd be mad heads out there all year long.
Yeah.
For sure.
All year long.
Gloves.
Regularly.
Winter.
You know what I mean?
Summer.
Right?
Spring.
It's 20. The high is 32.
Yeah.
Running the Timbs.
Son, the high is 32.
Yeah. I know.
And you still got 75, 80 heads out there.
Ultra boost.
All day.
Ultra boost all day.
High top
day.
Ultra Boost.
Ultra
All
boost.
day.
Yeah, we going stripes over checks on that side.
Right.
So it was this moment. It was this moment in life where, I was kind of at like a crossroads in life when you about to hit 40 and you're just like, I need to change my life. I had mentors who told me, yo, listen, don't wait till you're 50. Don't wait till you're 45. As a man, when you hit around 40 years old, you have to really consciously start to think about your health and your well-being. Mental health, physical health, spiritual health. Right?
Say it again, brother.
Mental, physical, spiritual. And so I started taking that to heart, and I took it to heart with this opportunity. Like everything was kismet. It was like, how often are you blessed to have work, life, all of it come together? And it came together in that moment. And so I started meeting people like Jesse Zappo, Kwasi Kessie, Amira, Omar, who, each of them had a specialty, whether it's mindfulness, whether it's nutrition or what have you. And I started like trying to live and practice what it is that I was trying to create. And that's been a journey for almost 4 years now. And the first thing I did was try to bring my brothers into it because I felt like I needed to have them to give me that support. I need an accountability partner, and I think a lot of what we do even for Night Riders is this idea of accountability partners, right? Whether we can express it or not, we are all accountability partners for ourselves. It's hard to individually get up and do something, but when you do it with one other person, two other people, three other people, it magnifies. And there's a collective energy that's shared either when you're running or when you're riding that lifts you up. And I think in the state of COVID, when you think about Night Riders and what it has become, it was about that collective energy. And it was really a practice in mental health. That's what Night Riders, like, we don't say that when you look at our blurb, but it's like subconsciously a practice in mental health. Like we are bringing that practice to riding a bike, to moving the body, because riding is, I call it's an all sense sport. You see, you move, like you're using all of your senses, or you can feel all of your senses when you're riding.
Especially in the city.
You're tapping into all of that. So it's almost like meditative if you want to. It could be spiritual if you wanted to. And we were sharing that amongst ourselves. And then because of the kind of disease that you talked about, the illness that was happening from a societal perspective in America and in New York, we said, listen, this could be an antidote. We didn't say that, but we said that. And hopefully that's what you felt, and that's hopefully what we continue to kind of emanate.
I'm a product of connectivity. So this separation has been harder. I realized on the back end, as we're ending the year, coming to the tail end of the year, fourth quarter, I realized how much of my work, my life, my energy is related to this.
Yeah.
Right? And so during particularly the early parts of COVID, don't talk to your mama.
Yeah. Not even
keep your kid away from you.
Yeah.
Right.
You have to isolate.
Exactly.
And that mental energy continually being pumped into your brain cells. So all of a sudden we found there was this way of like connecting and communicating and coming together that I think was really way more profound and powerful than we imagined.
Man,
Hey, listen, not to be remiss too, there's another person that we haven't talked about yet.
Free!
Yeah,
Free speech.
Free
like
speech.
that.
Free speech.
He pulled up a little earlier. Yeah, for sure, man.
He definitely plays an integral role on our weekly, messaging and getting things organized. And I look at Free, honestly, I look at Free like the OG of riding too. Like, even when we first started riding, I remember this thing. I think we were coming back from your block. And Free and I kind of live in the same general area. So he was like, yeah, let's just ride up together, ride up to Eastern Parkway. I was like, all right, cool. And I hadn't, again, remember, this is like, I just got back. I hadn't been riding. I don't even think I had a real bike.
2009.
Yeah, no, this is like 15. And we rode up New York Avenue, and I was like, yo, we just
That's another MAGA man. Don't sleep on the MAGA man.
Yo, Free took off. I think we went up New York Avenue, and he was gone. By the time we got,
And he's on a fixie.
he's on a fixie. So by the time I got up to Eastern Parkway, he's up there in the stance, balancing, doing tricks on the bike. Like, yo, you all right? And I'm like, yeah. Hey, you just give me a second. You know what I'm saying? But, so Free been riding for a long time, and it was a real kind of organic fit. Whenever he could, he would meet us during the earlier stages.
For sure.
And I think as we progressed and, things, and again,
Some of our best rides are from the earlier.
Yeah,
You know what I mean?
yeah.
sure.
Like, for sure. Like, just riding, just,
For fun.
like, yeah. Like, it just has have no idea.
What we're going to do. Yeah.
You know what I'm
we
saying?
just meet
So
and be
we,
like,
we, didn't, we didn't plan anything out.
It's
Like,
a
we
purity
just
that
gonna
comes
go over
Yeah.
wherever we're going to go.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's
And it being 25 miles. You know what I mean?
Easy.
right.
It's something that comes about by means of, what joy brings about.
For sure.
What that camaraderie comes back forth through. And again, just hearing it interwoven inside of all of your stories is something that I need to celebrate, because much like everybody that has laid out through their own individual stories as to why you fell in love with it, selfishly, our stories come about by means of celebrating people who find that same affinity for, I'm not just a product of what I do, but why I do it is more important.
What's your why? What's your why?
Simon Sinek.
Yeah, I'm somebody that needs my brothers that surround me to be also winning. I like seeing my brothers win more than I see myself win sometimes.
Exactly.
I want to see everybody be uplifted. And I'm doing this crazy thing where I see, I talk to Panamanian brothers and actually meet a real cousin inside here coming across. And I was like, yo, fam, you got to understand. Like, I was on this ride, we were doing this thing. It's crazy. So it all comes about by means of hearing. What I take away from this is dedicated brothers who were going to be proliferating what they were going to do in different arts. But the art of riding that bike, the art of movement, the art of overall well-being was a unifying factor.
Amen.
Even if it didn't need to be stated, it was something that was understood. Yeah. How much of what we do when we come together in that camaraderie moment doesn't need to be said. Mm-hmm. But I want to see your victory. I was like, yo, I don't even want to talk about another juice company. If I don't talk about my man Juice Company right now, that's crazy to me. Mm-hmm. I don't even understand where that's coming from. If I can't celebrate my brothers doing whatever their respective arts are, that's crazy to me. I don't even understand that. How do we really take that gold, that oil, that thing that you guys do? Because I don't know if you notice it, but you're hyperconductors for people who are interested in the same shit that you're interested in. And the people that come along these rides ain't no ordinary people.
Yeah, for sure.
In no way, shape, or form.
Community's very interesting.
Yeah.
Extremely.
Super dynamic.
There's a lot going on.
Yeah, super
There's a
dynamic.
lot going on.
I heard you talk about Weeksville. We had the brother from Weeksville doing the community gardens on this show already.
Wow.
I understand where that comes from. And you know how many podcasters be out there, Ryan? You got artists that want to be a part of your movement. You got people who are enlisted and already see the value systems that you brothers definitively have laid out. I don't know if you even needed to say it. They didn't have to be a press release that said this is what our North Star metric is. This is what we're gonna come through.
KPIs.
Yeah, we're not. You didn't have to do that. Look at who showed up to the party when you guys decided to throw a party. Yeah. They're real fucking people in a real way, and they connected to everything that you guys were doing. I just want to hear that thought because I know where I see that going. And I want to celebrate and champion that. But when you take that stewardship and you see, okay, it's not just, the 7, 8, or however many the small group was, it's a couple hundred, it's a couple thousand. It could be however big this movement you really do want it to be. Because, Dre, I hear A lot of what that run culture is, I see it in the bike culture.
Yeah.
You don't got to tell me about it, brother. I understand it. I was in Beaverton for a little bit. You know what's going on in Beaverton.
Yeah, 100%.
Did not have the happiest stories coming out of Beaverton, so I won't go into what was going on that side. Okay? No.
But you said Beaverton was heat.
Right.
You know what I'm talking about. On the B.
Emphasis on the B and the T.
Beaverton.
Beaverton.
Because the people that know what's going on in that town know exactly what I'm talking about, and I don't have to translate it to nobody else.
100%.
But you get it, right? And I see you brothers sitting on this goal, and I say, I don't want nobody else to take my brother's goal because this is yours. I want to amplify, I want to educate, and I want to tell the story because that's what I genuinely get to do. And I don't believe in coincidence. I believe the universe has been conspiring this whole time. I see myself in every one of these stories. I know these brothers do the same way, and I just want to celebrate and cherish that, amplify that to the highest level that we could. So what does that do for y'all when y'all see people seeing that, the artists and everybody else being awakened from a movement in a time where people were telling you to stay away? You actually got more actual tribe. You got more camaraderie. You got more people coming together and saying, hey, we could do that crazy shit that might have seemed crazy, but it ain't really that crazy because now we got confidence because we are out here night riding. I could do more stuff. What's that do for y'all? Let's go around the table.
I don't know. When you say that, I just think of the concept of synchro destiny. You know what I mean? With faith and action, the universe just kind of opens up opportunity. Yeah, it just happens. Like things get out of your way, and even though it may just seem impossible, all things are possible. Before I even go any further, I want to shout out the other bike crews because I think there are a lot of good folks who are also doing similar things that are organizing people together, like
Good Co.
Yeah.
Salute to Good Co.
Yeah, Blood, Sweat, and Gears.
Blood, Sweat, and Gears. Salute to MBR.
Straight up. Trackstar, Tour de Brooklyn. Trackstar Biz, you know what I'm saying? BK, like, there's a lot of good people out here
creating.
Yeah. So to me, again,
important.
it's like that synchro destiny, you know what I'm saying? We didn't have to say it, and we didn't all come out with, and there's no competition. We all support each other. We shout each other out on the rides as we pass each other.
No vibes for anything.
Yeah,
so much love.
I don't know. I see it growing. I don't know where it goes, and I don't know how we are. But at some point in time, we all have to come together and create the greater good. You know what I'm saying? And figure out what that is and salute that.
If I'm going to be really, really honest about it, we have realized since we were 20 years younger, if not before then, these cats that knew each other before me, that when we come together, that there's an energy, and we look around, whether we were in a club back in the day, or whether we were at a festival, or whether we're speaking in a room.
In a conference, right.
We notice, and we look around, and we look at each other. We might be across the room in a packed space, and we see that our vibration has people emanating towards each and one of us, and we're conscious of it. And it's with this endeavor, with Night Riders, we're sorting it out. We're still trying to figure out how do we encapsulate it, because we know that it's there. And the idea is, like, when you have power and when you have energy, you have to figure out how do you give it purpose. And so I think the journey that we're on right now in year 1 of Night Riders is figuring out how we take that energy and that power and give it purpose. And we're ideating around ways that we can make the energy purposeful, because it's fun. It's a vibe. It makes you smile, makes you laugh. It's therapeutic.
It's exercise.
It's all of that. But then how can we channel it to move and to impact change and to impact change in a positive way? Whether we channel that energy towards a school that we want to help some kids get funding in this state of information and Wi-Fi gaps, or do we want to channel it towards some community development, whatever it is, but we're looking for and we're growing towards how do we marry the passion and the energy with purpose. It's coming. So season 1 was a prototype, and season 2 is going to be another prototype, but it'll be much more focused. So we're looking forward to that soon.
I like it. First year about branding, next year about expanding, baby. That's what we're here for. I love to hear every aspect of it.
You are the prototype.
Think you in love? That's what we trying to take them to. Come on, brother Brad. What's going on?
My addiction to running and biking, running first, because it's simple as said, is the reminder that putting one foot in front of the other, I will get somewhere. that I wasn't when I started, right? In biking, I think it's a similar thing. In biking, it's the crank or one push or the consistent push will get me somewhere that I haven't been. And I think our exercise moving forward is how do we take that small piece of information on a micro level and expand it.
Yeah.
One of the things I love about our group is, and we had to work around this. There was a lot of phone calls around this, but like no man left behind
at all. Tell him.
So someone gets a flat. How do we address that? Like, yeah, I don't want to stop the flow of the crew, but I don't want to leave this person in a lurch. But I don't want to, so some of it becomes about, make sure you have these things. So if you do get that, you can do it. Some of it is information, but it's also like, we also, at least one of us or two of us are going to help do that, right? And so that each individual that comes out with us should both feel, I think, their individual strength, but they should also feel a collective support.
Belonging.
And I think that's something that, if I'm being completely honest, I've benefited with these gentlemen my life through.
Man.
And particularly in this last year, which has been a trying year for me personally. To know that like you both have your individual journey, but you have your collective belonging. And to know that I'm going left and going right, but some people are invested in your totality.
Yeah.
Right? And so how do we take that learning and express it through riding? Whether it's the shirts, whether it's the merch, whether it's the, types of rides we go on. How do we express that? How do we continue to create that community so that everyone feels, so that the brother, like, I love the fact that Corey, when we got here, you were like, yo, I'm just put it out there. I ain't more with y'all. But these brothers been on me. They been, I'm gonna get a bike. By March, I'm good money. You didn't say that. I'm putting that in your mouth. I'm good money.
In March. By March. No pressure, but a lot of pressure.
No pressure, but pressure.
You're a trainer, correct? You're a trainer, correct? So then I don't know, by March, that means you get the bike. You got 4 weeks to get 3 rides a week. You get yourself
you ready to go.
So then by April, boom. You know what I mean? But like, it's how do we inspire that amongst ourselves? How do we continue to grow that? And how do we continue to like harness this energy to be more than what we even imagine it could be? I'm excited about, like, we didn't start this thinking we would be here.
Right. Absolutely not.
Nope. We didn't start this thinking even Juneteenth. I remember Juneteenth, that phone call was like, I don't know, fellas.
150 people the most. That's it.
Right,
150.
We'll get about 150. I don't know.
That was who RSVP.
Maybe 200 if they want to really be knowledgeable. And then you show up and it's like, damn.
Yo, who's going to be the tail of the snake, though? Who's going to be in the back?
Okay.
Son, you got to stay in the back, though, for real.
Right? And then
Thank you.
Sidebar, it's a good place to be.
Not the worst for the sites.
Hey.
It's a lot of opportunities.
We call it
the Vista.
The Vista.
Buena Vista.
Yes.
Buena Vista.
Buena Vista.
There's certain things you can't get. There's certain things you can't see if you ain't in the studio.
I see where you at.
But so really, how do we harness that both individual reminder of one step in front of the other of wellness, right? And then how do we channel that and harness it into something that we don't even fathom what it is? I'm going to put a title on it.
Can't be a cap
I'm
to it.
excited to see.
Yeah.
I know y'all been waiting to see what the woo gonna do. I'm excited to see.
Let me get this one. Oh man. Dawson, what's going on, brother? How you feeling, man? What's that feeling do for you?
I'm feeling great, man. Honestly, bro, for me, it's really about people developing wellness, right? And understanding wellness is not limited to like one specific category, right? And this was part of my growth as well, understanding it holistically, right? There's economically, right? There's socially, which we've needed, like people have needed community, right? But then also it's about how do we communicate that through our rides, right? How do we offer different types of experiences, as to Dre's point, in terms of what we're thinking about for the next season? But for me, that's always what the rides have been about. You know what I mean? And then another analogy was that I've learned a lot like through running, right? And one of the things that I realized through running, which I realized about life, is that it's really just me against myself.
Consistent.
Most of the time.
You know what I'm saying? It's me against myself. You know what I mean? Regardless of whatever's going on around me, right? There's a destination I have to get through where I'm looking, where I can see it in the horizon. That's where I'm trying to get to. What I have to deal with along the way is what I have to deal with along the way. It's just like running. Are there upstairs hills? There's a bridge. All right, cool. That's what I have to deal with. You know, wanting to bring that to the rides. Like, it's something I say a lot, and now it's become my mantra is let's grow.
Let's go, let's grow.
Let's go, let's grow.
Let's go, let's grow.
You know what I mean? It's my mantra. Let's grow. First of all, who's going to say, nah, I don't want to grow?
Right.
I don't want to go.
Right. Nah, I don't want to grow.
Right.
I'll stay exactly where I'm at.
Nah, I'm good.
To yourself. You're not going to say it out loud.
I'm like, why you not going? I'm scared. What's keeping you back? Fear.
I don't want to ride in traffic. I can't do it.
I don't want to do it.
Out there.
All right.
I don't want to do it. It's dangerous.
Yeah,
They didn't
exactly.
tell you about the view.
No.
Right.
The Vista.
The Vista.
Vista will get you
Yo,
there.
my your car's got passenger seats, man.
But anyway, yeah. So like, let's grow, right? So my thing is like, how do I engage with the community, and how do we engage with the community in a way that'll allow them to grow? You know what I mean? Even if, sometimes you gotta force it on people. Not that you force it, like you're doing it to them, they don't even know what's happening.
Exactly.
Inception, baby.
Right? They don't even know what's going on. So that's, to me, what the rides, I would like them to reflect in the past and moving forward. You know what I mean? Like, how do we do that? Like, we have the distance ride.
Yeah.
Where we're gonna, that was 30 miles.
Oh, I remember
no
every
joke.
one of those 30.
You know what I'm saying? It wasn't a game. You know what I mean? We have the the fast rides. I mean, still, it's not a game. We got something for everybody, but it's, let's push the pace. I mean, how do we grow in this opportunity? Let's, we're going to go, the Juneteenth ride was about learning. And that was actually a really large distance especially for the second and third ride. You know what I mean? But that's what it's about for me. Like, how do we engage with the community that will give them the opportunity to learn something about themselves? I'm partnering with something about themselves and something that's going on around them.
100%. I'm there. March.
All right. All right.
Yeah, y'all heard it, right? Y'all heard it.
It's on the record.
It's on the record.
on the record.
Clap it up.
We are going to get Corey to get a bike by March. This is happening.
It's going to be a BMX with fat tires.
It's okay.
Yo, shout
I know you want to come out with
shout out
that.
to Z-Bo. Yo, we got a brother.
D-boy.
D-boy.
We got a brother.
D-boy. That's not his name.
We got a brother.
Hold on, son. That's not his name.
That ain't him.
You showing out the wrong person.
We got a brother
Son,
that
he
does
rides miles.
the
Yeah.
20s, the 30s, the 35-mile rides.
Oh, yeah. No.
And his vlogs is crazy.
On a BMX.
Nah.
Doing wheelies.
All the
With
way.
no problem.
All the way.
With no problem.
All the way.
Yeah.
Like it's light work.
He rides
light work.
different. I've been on
Let him
rides
catch
with this
your lip.
dude.
He gonna catch your lip.
Yeah.
And every time I see him, I'm like, yo, this is real.
You riding different. You
Right.
up saddle.
Different.
You
Yeah,
ride
yeah,
different.
yeah.
Saddle is way down.
Yeah.
Come on,
Yo,
bro.
we got beach cruisers.
Got a little bit of everybody
Yeah,
come out.
shorties with beach cruisers. That's not the distance ride group. They shouldn't be
Yeah.
there, but we got beach cruisers.
We've had city bikes.
Yo, we've had a couple
bikes
city
have
bikes
word
pull
up.
up. We've had a couple
Word
city
up.
bikes pull up.
Word up.
I wouldn't recommend it.
I wouldn't recommend it.
I wouldn't recommend it.
Yo, they had
But
me
it's
with my
happened.
first girlfriend, man.
Wow.
Wow.
You know when you were in 8th grade,
Wow.
the biggest joint.
Wow.
We got Fraser Row. Fraser Row, yes.
That's neither here nor there.
Not get him started. Don't do it. Don't do
There's
it.
a lot more in here right now.
Act like you're chilling.
We're
Act like you're
talking
chilling.
wellness culture. Right
Wellness
now.
culture, yes, wellness.
culture.
Well,
It was
I mean, well, that's also wellness. That's also wellness.
A thirsty man.
That's
needs a
also
drink.
wellness. Right. Come on, talk about it.
Just a little over acidic.
See,
Hey.
for the listeners out there, I want to say that
got
the
alkaline
Mezcal has hit us.
Alkaline it down a little bit. Yeah, bring the pH down.
Official.
See, That's when the Mezzi
finally landed.
When the Mezzi's in the system.
You ain't no telling.
Ain't no telling.
I do wanna punctuate a few things for like we spoke of The View earlier, and I want to give y'all this brief story of what happened with my View. So for context, me and brother Tonehead, we ride out together all the times. You know what I'm saying? We rode here today, and we ride home tonight type thing. But the Queens ride to Astoria Park is
Hell's Gate, baby.
If you would have told me in January of this year that you're going to ride your bike to Queens, I would have been like, you fucking crazy. But when we did it with the Night Riders, I was like, this ain't that bad. And I like that hill there. That hill get me every single time. Yeah. So now I need that at least 2 to 3 times a week just to get my mind right.
That's what's up, man.
But I say that to say that
Let's grow.
Let's go.
For that view that we spoke of earlier, when you got to go to Queens from Brooklyn, you got to hit that bridge that takes
Pulaski.
you to the LIC, the Pulaski Bridge. So I'm on the night ride. I'm nice and cool. You know what I'm saying? I'm coming over the bridge. I ride fixed, no brakes. You know what I'm saying? Wow. So I'm out here. You know,
letting you know, right?
Letting you know where I'm at with it.
Cherry wine lenses.
Right.
So
Cherry wine lenses.
I ain't no slouch.
I see you.
I ain't no slouch.
Well, here's the slouch part. You know what I'm saying?
That's how I like it.
I'm coming off the Pulaski Bridge. You know how it's tight right there when you coming off, and everybody was gathered at the end of the bridge because that was a meeting spot before we went to the next destination.
I can see where this going.
I see, if you will,
Stop it.
a beautiful creature, a specimen that I ain't never seen. Ran right in the back of it. I was like,
Whoa.
Wow.
You ran in the back of the View.
Yeah, because I had no brakes. I was like, I ain't never seen this before.
Shit.
So I had to gather myself, if you will.
Collect
myself, if you will. But like something like that is just an average day in the Night Riders. You know what I'm saying?
A chance occurrence.
Well,
A chance.
Encounter.
Thanks.
you do know that the new flirt is pulling the mask down.
Just seeing, let them know what's
Like,
going on.
let's be real. Like, it's a new era. The new flirt
like
right
it.
now. If you talking to somebody and you talking for a few minutes and the mask come down, it's good money.
It's a different
Because your life
situation.
could be dependent on that.
Now we playing for risk.
We playing for risk. Not even for real.
Stupid.
We playing for risk.
Stupid.
Now we talking raw dog.
We
Right.
We
Oh,
talking
raw dog.
Hey, whoa.
That's a raw dog combo.
That's
though.
true.
No.
That's true.
That's a
2020.
raw dog combo.
That's a raw dog
Like,
combo.
he gotta trust you to pull the mask down.
And that says something.
That's real.
Face and the waist on strap.
Both times.
Right.
We gotta make sure.
Both of them.
But deadass though, riding has become, and this is why free is so integral to the movement, that riding has become the new social, right? And so like,
Currency,
there's a way in which like you can socialize while you ride and still feel like, okay, I'm distanced, I'm getting exercise,
Right.
and I get to see people and I get to see the opposite sex,
And that person checks boxes. I know they're
Oh,
physical.
yeah.
right?
I know they're
Right.
semi-healthy.
I know they're dedicated.
Swag on point.
Swag
on point.
If they ride with us,
I see
if
the
they
bike.
night riding,
The vibe is there.
So
Okay.
there's a
You must
whole
do
other
something.
dynamic that we haven't even gotten into.
Right. Oh, you got beats? I
Yeah.
see your music.
Yeah.
yeah.
And we're conscious of that. We are conscious of making sure that there's gender equity in Night Riders.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
We want to make sure that it's not a sausage party. We want to make sure that we have a
Yeah, he said that.
we have a place
Sausage party.
for every pace.
Yeah, he said
We
sausage
got a
party.
place for every pace. You know what I mean?
love it,
So
man.
You said something.
I love where you're going, brother. I love where you're at.
You said something crucial that I
love
want
it. Bro, I'm right there with you. I know what you're talking about.
It's really good.
If it was, I probably
that's that
wouldn't come.
mezcal. That's that vida.
That's that vida.
That vida.
Vida. Para mi gente.
vida.
Para mi gente.
You said something crucial that I want to highlight, which was one of the things that we thought about is that when you ride, so like let's say someone's going to ride 10, 15 miles. You could ride that through Brooklyn. But to your point, that could also get you to Queens.
Mm-hmm.
That could also get you to Harlem. That could also get you, well, Harlem's 20, but that could also get you to different points. So how do we structure the rides and such to give, I'm so happy you said that, to give you an experience where it's like, damn, I would never have thought to ride to Astoria Park.
Right.
But when I look at what it was on my watch, my Fitbit,
And
my
how it felt,
whatever,
yeah.
I'm like, oh,
I got
that's
that.
15 miles.
Got that.
I do that.
Right.
And it opens up, right? So all of a sudden, people who have been riding with us, we got a WhatsApp chat, and it'll be like, yo, I went to Randall's Island today. And it's like, yo, that's dope. Because the story ride opened up that canal for somebody, right? They're like, oh, I could just get on a tri-borough, boom, 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 do that, right? So I think that's another crucial component of the collective, right? As a collective, and I learned that in the running culture. I'll tell you a story real quick. My second run, this dickhead friend of mine.
It's a brother story right here.
Let me tell you some shit. He been on me like, yo, son, you're not really supporting a brother. You know what I mean? This
There was a call out.
This is the hard Haitian guilt trip.
Right.
It's really a Jewish guilt, Jewish mom, Haitian mom, black mom, any mom. This is the guilt trip, but this is what he hits me with. Brother, I got this gig. I'm dealing with communities. I'm building communities around running. You're not really supporting a brother. I seen your Instagram. I saw you running in Philly. I'm like, yo, it was only a mile. I don't care how long it was. I seen you running. Roz is out there.
Right.
You know Roz longer than me. He's supporting me. You need to come out. I said, cool, Dre. You know what?
Give me 3 months, just like he gave you.
Hey,
There we go.
Months. I did my 3 months. Yeah. No. I've been there before. Because listen,
And he showed up.
I gotta run long enough to not embarrass myself when I show up.
These are facts.
Right.
Okay?
Oh, don't think
So-
I won't be on the pedal.
Listen. You in there. Right. So I did my runs. I showed up for the first run. It was above anything that I'd imagined. Like they had mindset people, brother running next to you, like, what are you seeing when you run? What are you thinking?
I love that.
Look at the horizon. Don't look at the ground. Look ahead. I'm like, this shit is amazing. And then sidebar, it's mad beautiful people in tights.
Hell yeah.
I'm like, this is superhero shit to the greatest degree. And we end it with oatmeal and bananas. I'm fucking with this shit right here.
Right?
This is
Fresh
amazing.
fruit.
Fresh fruit and granola, like that
Right,
expensive
and
granola.
yogurt and granola.
You know expensive granola?
The good shit.
That bare shit.
Right.
Extra
crunchy.
granola.
You know what I mean?
Yeah. So we did all that, boy.
It wouldn't be there when we left.
No, when we left, it was
But when
just
you get
water
back-
and like the goo packet.
Yeah.
And when you see the skinny runner dude taking the goo packet, you be nervous. So the first one we get out there, they're like, there's 3 groups. There's a 4 mile, there's a 6 mile, and we're doing a distance run. Roz is like, yo, son, I'm doing a long one. What you doing? I'm like, yo, son, you're already too hyped for me to even engage with you. And you got the tights on, and you know when you wear the tights with no shorts, it's for real.
You out here to run.
Tights on with no shorts.
You putting speed on them.
And all the skinny dudes that like just
You
take
let them
one
know
rep
what you
per
working
mile.
with. Here's
So
where
cool.
I'm at.
We out there. I do that run. No, he shames me into doing the long run. So we end up starting at like 14th Street.
Yep.
We go from 14th Street down the east side, come around up the west side, up to 14th Street again, come back across. It ends up being like 10, 12 miles. I'm like, this is amazing. I didn't know I could do it. You felt that breakthrough.
Yeah.
So I'm going to show up next week. Son, I show up week 2. He's like,
second half of the New York Marathon.
they're like, we're going to meet in Long Island City this week. I'm like, oh, different view.
Who knew?
Who knew?
Listen, baby.
Fam, my man, 20 years in the game, my man tells me nothing. We show up, we get outside, it's like 42 degrees.
Right.
I got my heat tech, you know what I'm saying? Because I done invested, I got a little clothes.
You got the fit.
I'm like, I'm going to at least look like I could do this.
Yeah.
The tights with no shorts?
No, I had shorts.
You gotta respect.
Best time.
Best style. We do shorts. Like Spike Lee first movie. We do.
I live on the block.
But you Ralph Lauren Mansion. You Ralph Lauren Mansion. You extra fitted cuts. Extra fitted.
He was wearing slim before slim was slim.
Right.
They go to skinny jeans, wasn't it?
Yeah. He was wearing slim before
They was
slim
just called jeans. Right. You know what I'm saying? So, real quick, we end up there. We get outside. We're in the cold. Everybody's doing their little jumps in the warm. I'm like, today we're going to do a simulation of the last 13 miles of the marathon. I'm like, oh, shit. The Queensboro Bridge is right there. Oh, shit. shit. Oh, I'm starting to heat up. My heart's beating, everything going
And
crazy.
we drove in one car, so
And we drove in one car, so there's no bailing.
Yeah,
You know what I'm saying?
You there now?
We start running. This dude's like, yeah, we gonna do it together. It's good. You gonna be good, man. Don't worry. You know what I'm saying? Give me a full Nino Brown. You know what I'm saying? I'm like, no doubt, G Money. No doubt. No doubt. My brother's keeping we good. We get on the 59th Street Bridge, and if you drive, you know that feeling when you're doing 80?
Oh, yeah.
And a dude hits you in like something extra German or extra foreign, and you're at 80, and they come up next to you, and they look at you, and then your 80 seems like 40.
Yeah.
That's what he does to me. Well, this dude just starts out crazy. They're like, go! He's like, yeah. I'm like,
I see y'all.
I see Roz. Yeah, I see Roz at the end.
We gonna get
This
that oatmeal
dude
together, bro.
is running with me, runs with me on the bridge. I see him pull out on me. And then it's just me. And I'm like, damn. And then, you got the mindset people, and the coach was like, yo, the bridges are where people mostly quit.
I can't front though. That was a hard run.
It was.
That was a hard run.
This is for the dude with no shorts.
Right.
Exactly.
It was a hard run.
It
I
was.
was really happy to see you finish it. I can't
Dead
front.
ass.
Because
Dead
that's
Bruh,
a mental.
when you get off,
there's a certain part of running that's about mental.
baby.
Like I'm gonna push
Fortitude.
through.
and it was
You know
my
what I mean?
second
And you
joint.
pushed through.
We got off.
And it was like 30 to 30, 33,
Yeah,
35
yeah, it
degrees
wasn't-
that day.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But to the point, it just showed me in a microcosm what the community, what those around you can inspire you to push through.
Hell yeah, man.
But it was crazy. And it was legit the last 13 miles of marathon. We did the full Queensboro Bridge.
End up in
Into
the
the
park.
park.
Yeah. That's Central Park. Yep.
Yeah, past the
Into the
museum
park.
mile, boom, all that. Yeah.
Crazy.
So one thing I've learned from this conversation, for real,
Push yourself.
don't trust Dre.
Oh, damn!
Yeah, we gotta give it to him.
The Haitian exaggeration.
Exaggeration, baby.
Fellas, I tried to rap it once prematurely, but this is. I assure you.
Off the strength. You're off the strength, though. Off the strength.
Off
This
the
is it.
strength, I assure you.
Rappellation? That's not a
This is
thing.
it.
We can't let that go out.
I assure you, this is the time now.
Premature rappellation.
This is the one.
Is that when you pull it out too quick?
You know what? We
Captain Pull Out. Captain Pull Out over here, right?
But I ain't never left it in too long.
Hey, can't argue with that.
Right.
That's sound logic. You can't argue with that. That's sound.
now sliding past the leave-in. We're gonna talk about our exit.
Sometimes you gotta leave with love.
We're gonna leave with love on this exit.
Right.
Now, fellas, the way that we wrap the show is we make sure that everybody gives our listeners something that they can walk away with. A tool, a gem, something that helped you along the way off the strength, right? So I see everybody got their thinking caps on right now. I'm going to go to Brother Quasi. He seems ready right now.
You guys are ready. I just got to cook at home, man. Listen, your blood and your internal fluids, they should be at about 7.34 pH, right? Watch your acid intake, right? And try to just keep your body as alkaline as possible. You know what I'm saying? Everything that God has given us on this earth in terms of herbs and things and all that nature, as long as you maintain that, nothing can harm you. So, cook at home. That would be my word.
Coming in with the juices. Giving you the Hugo.
Understood.
Giving you that fresh Hugo,
I
brother.
don't want to put nobody on, putting nobody on next, but who got next?
I got you.
All right,
I'm
say
going to hit
what's
you with a
up.
little Haitian proverb.
Let's do it, Dre.
Ça fait, c'est li ou ouais. One more time. Ça fait, c'est li
C'est li
ou ouais.
ou ouais.
What you do is what you see.
Mm.
So, what it means is that in life, what we see in our life is a result of our actions. And we, for many, many years, have watched each other step out on faith and take tremendous steps and tremendous actions. And we've all seen each other at super duper highs and super duper lows. We started this conversation by you talking to Reg about, brown sugar.
Mm-hmm.
And that was early days. That was we just graduated college, man. And this guy was traveling around the world and in movies, and I was
making
teaching.
albums overseas.
Making albums overseas. I was teaching.
As Mama would say that in a token to get you on the bus.
So this idea of like our actions is that in this stage that we're in right now, we have to focus on trying to be as consistent as we can. And Reg talked about it, one step at a time. And when you're younger, you're like, yeah, I'm going to take over the world. And I think at the stage that Night Riders is at, and I think one of the things that we want to emit to people is this idea of one step at a time, one pedal at a time, one community member at a time. What you see is what you do, right? And if you can continue that day in and day out and just show up, I think that you as an individual and doing it as a collective will make an impact in society. And I think that's what ultimately we want to do, is make an impact in society. And we're going to define exactly what that is, but we're making it in small ways and in small steps turn into big ones.
Just like he would do in our seminar classes, Dre took my answer. And leave you with the professor like, No, but I'll do two quick ones. My first would be, one foot in front of the other, you will definitely get somewhere other than where you are. And literally on my worst day, I try to remind myself. Right now I'm in a rebuilding phase. I can't even run because I have injuries, leg injuries, all kinds of things going on. But I walk. So I'm like, if I got to walk 10, 15 miles because I can't run 7, I'll do that because it'll get me somewhere other than where I was. So that's number one. Number two, from a mental health space, is reminding ourselves or reminding myself constantly that you deserve the right, or you have the right to take up the space for what you're feeling. It's okay. It's okay to own the space in what you're feeling and not be bogged down by it, not be shied away from it. You know, 1, 2, we got 7 brothers here tonight. And within this room, right, all 7 individuals have been able to own a space and share and collective and be and grow and be amazing, right? So I think that's something I would love to leave our listeners with. Like, whatever the space in which you're feeling, you deserve that space. You own that space. It's okay to have that space. And then continue to just, as Dre said, put one step in front of the other. And you will at the very least, you will get somewhere that you haven't other than where you are. Everything else is navigation and, figuring out directions and trying to get to a specific goal. But you'll definitely get somewhere other than where you've been if you continue to push forward.
Love it, love it, love it.
What I would like to leave the community with is let's grow.
Let's go, let's grow.
Like, I think since the first time, it's just something that resonates with me forever. You know what I mean? At this point, and it's in so many different levels. So if it's really about, if I can get everyone around me to kind of like take that on as a mantra, regardless of, whatever's going on in your life, because there's so many different, in what way does it not apply? You know what I mean? Pick a section of your life.
Yeah.
You mean anything. You can break it down to the smallest component that you would like. You telling me that you don't want to grow positively in that aspect of your life? Of course you do. Right? So it's like, understanding that we have to grow as individuals, but when we grow as individuals, it'll lead us to growing collectively.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? That's just the nature of growth and who we are as human beings. So if, it would be really about, like, let's grow, yo. And whatever that means for you, however that is important to you in your life at that time, but just understand that that's just how you see it at that moment. It's always going to expand to something else. It can expand to something else.
The vibras, baby. Escuche la ciudad respirando right now. We coming inside here.
Para mi gente.
My people.
You know what's going on, baby. We came in here to let people know what's going on. And I love every aspect, from growing to one foot in front of the other to making sure that we got our pH balance all across the world. Fellas, I just wanted to celebrate my brothers inside this moment because it was something that was
Thank you.
We appreciate the opportunity.
Thank you.
Truly special for me.
Thank you very much. Like we said earlier, I had no idea we would end up. None of us did. that we would end up doing something like this.
I can promise you one thing. This is the first of many conversations that we will continue. Because Rasa, we didn't even get to talk about the whole Baltimore constituency, and this brother over here,
this
has a lot going on.
He's right.
We didn't even get to talk about it. Right. This is part one of a conversation that will be a continuous conversation that we will all celebrate.
Baltimore.
Let's go.
Make sure we get into. See,
Yeah.
I didn't even have to get into it. My brother over here's got my back on that. And as long as I'm with my brothers in that camaraderie spirit, I just want to share that energy with anybody that will listen because I know their life is going to be better about it. Point blank, simple and plain. Fellas.
And let's celebrate your reflection of whatever it was we admitted.
Mm-hmm.
Right. Namaste.
Namaste.
Yeah. Whatever
Divine
it was,
in me,
the
salutes to
reflection
divine in you.
Felt on the ride.
What else though, man? You got to recognize you have a wonderful opportunity and set up
great platform
in this platform with this platform right here. So definitely want to shout you out. This is powerful. You know what I'm saying? It has an impact 100%. On people's lives. You know what I mean? So understanding.
That's a good photo, you guys.
Dead ass.
Yeah.
Like
you know,
you like that one right there?
We's going with
Yeah. Pensive. Yeah. Deep in thought.
We was going
with motivation. What's my motivation?
Right. We was going vibe, death row. You know that whole
That's what we were.
That's what we did.
Okay. Real talk on this one. When he was this pose on that was not me trying to pose. He was like, yo, what's your next pose? I was like,
I don't know.
Boom.
Gotcha.
Quick. You're like, real quick. You can tell you took it.
Caught him with the mouth. Caught him with the mouth.
I like it.
Yeah, that's like Jacob Miller's son, though. I don't know if anybody knows who Jacob Miller is, but, you know.
Bob Marley died. Jacob Miller died. Yes, Jacob.
oh, man.
Come on, man.
Don't trust Drake.
Maga man.
Setup.
Like, man.
Setup.
That's the thing, man. We take these references that are I feel like our lineage, our birthright, and we try to translate that to the thing that I heard from everybody's story, really motivating and really getting people to take that thought and make it into action, that movement art. We collectively have found a way to find that narrative, put the medicine inside the candy a little bit and make people have that beat, that rhyme, that snare, whatever it's going to be, that's going to get us all together and get us moving in the right direction and celebrate everybody that comes along in that direction. That's what our initiative is about. That's what our platform is about. That's what our directive is. So whenever we get to do that, it's a lovely situation for me. So I am elated.
Thank you.
Give thanks.
Beautiful.
Respect to you guys.
I love every aspect of that. Thank you.
For sure.
Thank you. Fellas, how y'all
Far
feeling?
too kind. Far too kind.
Exactly. Thank you. Far too kind. Can we get an encore? Can we get an encore? We're going to come back around. We're going to get this ride again.
Yeah, of course.
Make it work.
We appreciate you.
Yo, shout out to my man Art. You know what I mean? I know you're going to be listening to this.
At the cow.
Yes,
Okay. You know what I mean? My man Steve. You know what I mean? Silky. All of my them.
All of them.
Yo, shout out to everybody out there. Yo, this has been another fantastic episode of Off the Strength. I'm a trainer called Tony.
You're a trainer, Corey. KR Jones already left.
KR Jones has got to make a quick pit stop.
Word up.
Peace and much love to everybody out there. Until next time, we'll see you soon.
Night Riders.
All day, man.